Why, hello everyone. Here he is. Okay, so like I said in last video, ever since I got a chameleon, so many people have asked, how hard are they? And let me just say, they're hard. They're, sure, if you want an easy pet, get a snake. But if you want a cool and decently hard pet, definitely get a chameleon. But today, if you really want one, I'm going to take you through the steps of how to take care of your very own panther chameleon, or practically any chameleon. Okay, so let's start with food. First off, with a baby like Godzilla Jr., you're gonna want something like flightless fruit flies or maybe baby crickets, but not something huge like a super worm or a hornworm, because those guys are just too big. However, baby waxworms are an incredible treat. They love the taste. They love the taste. They're big enough to actually fill them, but they're also small enough that they're not too big. And so if you want to feed your baby chameleon, definitely get them flightless fruit flies. I'd recommend those since they're so easy to take care of. They don't need anything. They usually just come with the food. If you buy them at PetSmart or something, they have these little cylinders full of them. And what you're supposed to do is just take off the plastic wrapper, take off this piece of foam, dump in a few but not all of them so the females that are left in the cage can reproduce, so you don't have to buy flies ever again. Okay, so that's for babies, but for adults, you're gonna want stuff like superworms and adult crickets. Those two are the best actual foods for your adult chameleon, because it's healthy for them, and they're also big enough to, they're just a good one. Okay, next, housing. It just depends on where you live. You can get a glass cage, a mesh cage, or a wooden cage for a chameleon. If you're here in Utah like me, I'd recommend a mesh cage. But if you live somewhere more in a hotter area like Arizona, probably something more like a wooden cage, because those guys are really cold at night, and so it would just help your chameleon. Glass cages aren't the best because they'll see their reflection in the glass and they'll think it's them, so they'll try and attack it. So I wouldn't recommend them, but if you live in a really cold area, a glass cage would be the right, because it would hold in the heat that's already in there, so it can get toasty, so your chameleon can get toasty and warm. You obviously need a basking light. You need one that has two places to put light bulbs. One's a basic basking light, and one is more to keep them warm at night, like a blanket. You keep them both on in the day and leave the red one on at night. You can find it at PetSmart, Petco, and Mark's Ark. If you live in Utah like me, once again. Okay, third, water. There are 3 ways you can water your chameleon. I have all 3. One way is to get something called a dripper. Let me go grab it. Okay. This is dripper. There's a little tube that just shoots out water on some plants. It's not that great. The second is a mister. It's not automatic. I don't have one of those, but I shouldn't unplug it, but here it is. It sprays water on that plant, and it's really good at giving out water. The third one is this, just a hand sprayer. You can get a Dr. Clean, as long as you super well clean it out. Okay, we're gonna circle back around to that one. But for now, let's talk about health. Health. Specifically, like um, I'm talking about stuff like if he ever gets sick or anything like that. Um, you just they like vets that typically take care of dogs would not be the right choice. You need to find an exotic pet vet, and they'll take care of it. Um, so they'll take care of it, and so they'll be good. Second, third, something I don't know. Male versus female. Um, this is kind of a hard one. I can't really tell the difference between any chameleons except for the Jacksons and the Veils. Let's start with Jacksons. See, always females will always be less colorful. Like, no offense to them, it's just boys look a lot prettier in most of the animal kingdom is like that, right? And like, I don't, I don't know. I might get angry. People might get angry. I'm not saying every girl is gross, or I'm just saying. Um, Jackson's chameleons are obviously less colorful, like I just said. And also, they will never have those horns that you think of when you think of the Jacksons, like those big horns spreading out. Females are a bit harder since they need extra room in their cage, which means more money. So you're gonna have to get them some. You can just get them a simple ice cream tub and just fill it up with dirt. That might work, and so they can lay eggs if they ever mate. And so if you also so veils, if you're trying to get one and you want a male, you're trying to look for one that's A, more colorful, and B, has a bigger veil on the back of their head. Like these guys, this is a female. You can tell because it has a smaller one sprouting from their head. Males are typically more like that. Nope, you can't grab the book. If you want something, if you want a female, then get one that's less colorful and more like more like calm. They're a lot better with holding. If you want to have like one that really likes holding, I'd suggest getting a baby because they're less scared of holding, and so they'll slowly just get more and more used to you getting them out. And as soon as they're actually fun to hold, they'll be okay with you holding them. So there you go. Next, I'm going to circle back around to the housing, specifically with plants. You see, it's a lot cheaper and easier to get fake plants for your chameleon, and I get it. But you need to have at least one real-life plant in his cage and water him about every day for about 10 seconds. Just put him in the cage somewhere you can fit it. Chameleons aren't strictly omnivores, which means they don't only eat meat. They're actually, what is it called when they eat both? It's not I don't care. When they eat both, they eat both. Now, they'll mostly eat crickets and meat and stuff like that, but sometimes they want to chew on just a juicy leaf. So you always gotta have at least one plant with a lot of leaves on it, and you gotta water it every day for 10 seconds. Or at least that's what my mom tells me with most plants. Don't buy anything for like a cactus for your chameleon, because you understand what problems that would cause. Also, make sure there aren't any holes in your cage, because that's terrible. Like I told you last episode, this guy almost died because of a big hole in the cage. And also, feeder insects can get out, and it's just a pain in the butt. If you want anything, so also you're gonna want to put baby chameleons in a medium cage. The reason is reptiles only grow to where they can fit in their habitats. So put them in a medium one so they'll grow up to be about this big. And they won't get huge like some chameleons get. I mean, if you want one, get a big cage. But if you want just someone that you can just hold on a regular basis without, like having a lot of weight on your hands, put them in a more medium cage. Also, if you want to know what colors are sprouting out of your chameleon, if they're a baby like this guy, first there will just be little dots of color on their tail, and that'll tell you a piece of it. And then a bunch of color will start sprouting on their head. See, this dude is got some blue, some red, and some green, which is about every single panther chameleon. But some are different. Some are straight blue, some are straight red, some are straight green, and some are yellow. I've never actually seen a yellow one in person, though. Also, with almost every chameleon, you need to make sure they have great humidity. If you didn't know, humidity is like water, like how wet a place is. You need it to be really wet, because most chameleons live in rainforests, which means it's really wet, really hot. So if you take a look at my thermometer over there, which I'm too lazy to show you, you'll see it's about 70 degrees and 60% humid, which is about what you're aiming for if you're getting a panther chameleon, like this dude. Once they start getting older, you have to turn down the heat and turn up the humidity. I still don't know why, but it's just something I learned from the book. It didn't explain why. Some myths are they don't absorb water from their skin. They'll have to drink with using their tongue. So that's why you like spray the plants with water, because they'll lick off the leaves, and if it's real, they might eat it with it, because it's actually a great meal for them. One thing I'd stay away from, we'll circle back to food, because I forgot some stuff. But another common myth is don't give them a shower or anything like that. If you want them to smell better, spray them with this tropical mist humidifying spray. It's more meant for plants, and I get that, but you can also spray them with this. It'll make them actually smell better. When it comes to cleaning their cage, you're supposed to do it about every day. What you're supposed to do is just like get a Dr. Clean or whatever it's called. Spray it down the bottom of the cage. Put a paper towel on it, a wet paper towel, and then just take it off and put it in the garbage can. That's what you're gonna want. I mean, there is other ways, like maybe taking it outside and washing it down with your hose, but it's just quicker to do that way. But then again, it's better, I don't know. Like, what about in winter? What are you gonna do then if you don't live in, like, Australia? Because then what are you gonna do? Because, like, there's snow everywhere and you can't do it. So you need to get prepped for doing, like that kind of, like, cleaning their cage. And you're supposed to do it every day. Okay, we're gonna circle back around to food because I forgot some stuff. Butterworms. All those worms, you can let them pupate, but only a couple. Because if you let them all pupate, there's a chance that your chameleon might not like them, and so you just wasted your money on some useless food. Also, mealworms, I would stick away from. They like the taste, but honestly, it's not to the point where they need it, like us with chocolate. It's hard to digest, and it doesn't really have any good nutrients. If you want to give them a treat, and they really like these ones, once again, waxworms. They're super cheap, super small. They're about for all ages of chameleon. They're just, the only problem is they're unhealthy. Once again, flightless fruit flies and baby crickets for babies. They're really nutritious. But if you need some food for an adult, superworms, and adult crickets, and if they're big enough, hornworms are all incredible. Hornworms actually also quench their thirst. It's like watermelon for a chameleon. They're even both pretty looking. Also, if you get babies hornworms, they will grow like every day. They'll double or even triple size every day. If you don't want that, like for one day, put them in their cage. I mean, the freezer. And also, there are a couple of ways to feed your chameleon. You could put them in a cup and hold it right in front of them for bonding. You could put it on your hand for them to eat from for bonding, which is what I do. But the best, I think, is you let them loose in the cage and let them hunt them. Sure, this does mean if they're not a good hunter, they could starve, but it gives them an activity to do, which gives them exercise, which obviously I like. Also, when it comes to baby chameleons, I'd recommend turning off their light. It just depends, like here in Utah, you turn off one of their basking light, not their night light, at about 8:40, yeah, just 8:40, but when they get older, I'd recommend 9:30, because they don't need as much sleep as the babies do. Oh, he's trying to climb on the camera. So, there you go. There you have it. I don't think I missed out on anything. If you want to take care of crickets, there's some, like, jello water stuff that you could put in this bowl in their cage. There's these little blocks of cricket food for them, and you can buy cages for them. And you have to put a piece of an egg carton so they can sleep in them and they won't kill each other. But other than that, I've gone through about everything you need to know about taking care of a cam. Still do your research if you want to take one. Like, don't just watch this video and then buy a chameleon. I'd still recommend doing some research because these guys are really fragile. Like, even though they can really take a hit, they can die so easily. They're so easily stressed, and if you don't have experience with reptiles, I wouldn't recommend buying one. They're really hardy, the males are, and which is good, but at the same time they're hardy and hard. So at the same time it's good, but it's also bad. So like, it's fun to take care of them. It really is. But like, if you're lazy and you don't like working that much, I wouldn't get one. They will just die. They die too easily. They're stressed too easily. And so, there you go. That's how you take care of a chameleon. If you haven't seen any other videos, go check them out. I don't know how to make links, but find me at Luke and Godzilla Jr. That's my channel, if you didn't know. Use that chameleon tongue and slap that subscribe button. Use those little clamp hands and click that like. And I'll see you guys next time.